Okay, here with Coach Chad Fox from Wahoo, playing in the C1 state championship game against a really good Boone Central team, by the way. Coach, first, I want to touch on your team. Young kind of group that people saw coming maybe the last couple of years, and now you're in the state title game and first time since 2019.
Yeah, no, we've got a great group. It's probably a blend of some seniors, some juniors, and some sophomores. It's not dominated by any one grade, which is just an interesting mixture for us. We weren't quite sure how all those puzzle pieces would fit together, and it's come together nicely. The seniors have provided some great leadership, which has made all the underclassmen, whether they're sophomores or juniors, feel welcome and feel like they're part of the team. So that's really kind of been the secret, I think, to this thing working out for us. And obviously then you got to have good players. I mean, you're not going to be in a state final game if you don't have good athletes and good players. And we have that. So no, but it's been a fun ride and these guys have been fun to coach. So it's been a great year.
One guy, I guess your leader on defense is Braylon Iverson. He's your leading tackler. He's had a pretty impressive year so far for you guys.
Yeah, he does a great job. You know, he does a great as a junior. He plays the inside linebacker. He's kind of the quarterback of the defense. He gets everybody lined up and makes all the calls and checks that we need to make. And he did a really good job of finding the football. You know, he's not afraid of contact. He's not afraid of being physical. And he finds his way to the ball. Obviously, if he's got as many tackles as he has, he does a good job with that. Yeah, he's been a tremendous asset for us on defense. And just his ability to, again, communicate and get everybody lined up has been really, really important for us and getting everybody on the same page.
And offensively, you guys have a lot of different weapons you can use. And you do. I saw you guys play twice this year, so you use them a lot. But Noah Bordowski has had a really nice year for you at the running back position.
Yeah, he's done a great job, and he carries the ball probably more than most of the other kids do. I mean, and he's a workhorse type back. I know he would want to carry it more if he could, but kind of the way our offense is structured right now and the different pieces and parts that we have, we want to get everybody the ball and be as diverse as possible. And we got a lot of athletes that lend itself to that. But Noah's done a great job. I mean, there's been some games where he had to carry it 30 times a game and he held up just fine. And he does a great job of running in between the tackles. He's figured out how to get behind his pads and run behind his pads and get those tough yards when we need them. And, I think I don't know what he's at now, 19 touchdowns or something right in that area. But he did a great job. We got a little wildcat package with him too. So he gets the direct snap and can get to the hole maybe just a little quicker than getting it from a handoff. But yeah, he's been a tremendous asset for us. And he's done a great job of playing running back.
That wildcat package worked for a touchdown against Sydney. It's about 6-yard touchdown. Anyway, so Kaminsky at quarterback is young guy, right? But he's been super solid for you guys.
Yeah, Jace is been really good this season. We did not know really how this was going to work out for us. Jace is just a sophomore, but he had to play the first game for us because Sam Edmonds was injured, and Jace came in and did just fine. He never once had a sense that there was any nerves. We're playing the returning state champion, big game, and then we turned around and played Ashland the next week, and he made some huge plays for us throwing the ball and just some decision making that was not really what you'd see with a typical sophomore. So he's been an asset for us on offense, and it's then allowed us to use Sam Edmonds in some different ways because he was a guy that was going to play some quarterback for us, and he's got great speed and great hands, and he's just a great athlete. So we can get him involved in some different ways now, and Jace has kind of been a facilitator in getting the ball to all our different players and athletes that we do have.
You guys have 6 shutouts on the year, and your schedule wasn't easy.
It was a tough schedule.
Yeah.
Toughest schedule in the state. I will stand on that hill, and I will die on that hill. Thank you, Mr. Newhouse.
Only one team, and that was Ashland, who's pretty good, scored more than 12 points against you guys. Boone's pretty good and pretty athletic. I feel like it's going to be a pretty low-scoring defensive kind of battle. What have you seen so far from Boone, or what do you know about them?
Yeah, they're good. They're really good. I mean, they've got some guys that have been playing for a while. I believe this group of seniors, they've been on the field a lot for them over the last 3 years, and they're really, really good. They got a great running back with the Boer kid. A good quarterback. They've got some nice receivers as well. Big fullback to block. They've got all the pieces on offense that really make you nervous when you're trying to defend all that. But yeah, I mean, if we can keep it as a low-scoring game, that would be great. I don't know if that's going to be in the cards for us because they score a lot of points.
Right.
They do, and it'll be tough. And they're big up front. I mean, they don't have like small linemen or anything like that. They're really big up front, strong kids. They know what they're doing. So it's going to be a definite challenge for us. We'll have our hands full, but our kids are looking forward to it. Anytime you get a chance to play Memorial Stadium, that's exciting. And our kids are kind of feeling like maybe we're a little bit of the underdog. Maybe we weren't supposed to be here yet this year, but hey, we're just, I don't know, we're here to play, and our kids are enjoying it and they're having a great time this year. And like I said, they're doing a great job. Been a dream to coach.
Yeah. So what can you take from the 2019 game to, I guess, this year? It's years where these kids, like maybe they were ball boys or something on the team.
There is. If you look at some pictures from that 19, all of our managers were sophomores now. I mean, Jace was in there and a couple other of those kids were heavily involved in that year, but as managers, of course.
Right. Yeah.
But, really, it's just such a different dynamic. It's a different thing. It really is. I mean, we have a younger team. That year we had a team that was maybe a little bit like what Boone had because we had seniors that played as sophomores and juniors. We got knocked out of the semis both years prior to that by the state champion. So, I mean, those seniors that year had something to prove. They really felt like they needed to win that game, and they felt like they needed to be there to prove something. This year it's just way different. This group is way different. We've got a mixture of sophomores, juniors, and seniors contributing. They only know what they know right now, and they know that we're going to play on Tuesday, and they're going to know, we play at 10:15. That's really kind of all they know. They don't have any of the hardships of losing over the last few years in the semifinals of being so close. They don't have that. So, and we were kind of a team that, again, dominated by seniors, but we also had, Trev Lubin, who carried the ball. I mean, he was the guy that was kind of the feature guy on offense. We had some other pieces and parts, but it wasn't like there was a lot. I mean, this year on offense, there'll be anywhere from 8 to 11 guys touch the ball in a game. So we don't have that feature guy. And really, if you watched, I mean, we don't have any real feature players. I mean, I don't think, like a lot of these other schools that we've played, they've got players to watch. Yeah. Big stat guys, all those things. We don't have any of that. Even on defense, we have a lot of guys that get to the football and make plays for us. And that's the fun that's been with coaching these guys, is they've all been willing to accept whatever role and do whatever they can to make the team the best team we can make it. And that's really been the enjoyment of this season. And it's just, other than playing at 10:15 on Tuesday, there's not a lot of similarities with 19. That's really all that feels the same. I mean, the schedule is virtually the same for us, what we're going to do, with preparations going into the game. That's about it. It's been the same.
Yeah. The schedule, being there in the schedule piece kind of helps a little bit, right? The practice plan and kind of know that it's a longer pregame with the intros and all of the just stuff that comes with it, and having that experience as a coaching staff and coach certainly probably helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember last time I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I'm talking to different coaches that have been there. Talked to Larry Martin and some of those guys. I'm like, you've been there a bunch. Give me some tips. What do I need to have a heads up for? And he was very helpful and sent me some information about, this is how I organize things. This is what we did. So those were all things that were helpful. That isn't necessarily in play right now.
Right. Yeah.
We have what's going on. So, yep.
We will see you Tuesday at 10:15. Okay. I'm hoping to be there this time.
Yeah, maybe your phone will be like operational, right?
Yeah, that was so bad. All right, I'll see you Tuesday.
Awesome. See you then. Thanks.
Yeah, bye. Okay, next up, Class C1 head coach, Boone Central Cardinals, Mark Hudson. Coach Hudson, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me. All of those, pleasantries. Let's get that out of the way.
Thanks for coverage. Thanks for la. Yeah.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah, we're good. So you guys have been building to this moment, I guess, in this state championship game for a couple of years with this senior group. What went into that? What's gone into that? Kind of, you played all these guys when they were young.
Yeah. Great question. It's a little bit different. Everybody's demographics and school is a little bit different. And, we're out here in rural America, and we don't get reload or a new subdivision or just this line of kids coming. But when we do get a good bunch, they're really committed. They're not distracted. We knew these guys were coming probably about, 8th grade, or I've been working with them. My son's on the team since 5th and 6th grade. So yeah, it's a little bit different where you got good kids, but these kids were, 5 of them were starting at the end of their sophomore year. So you knew that it was going to work its way up. It's fine tuning the details. It's learning all the little things, from last year to this year that you've built upon that, has helped make a little bit more of a difference, I think.
I want to start, I guess, with your team. Parker Bohr gets all, I guess, the headlines, and rightfully so, obviously. Pretty good player, pretty good back, and 23 touchdowns, over 1,800 yards. But you have a bunch of other guys too, and Fogelman's been really good at quarterback for you this year.
Yeah. What makes Parker really good is the fact that we've got enough threats every place else that you got to respect. And for a running team, we couldn't just sit down. We can a little bit, but we can't run Jeff Beller's offense and just go right at you all night. I mean, we can't. We've got to have those threats on the outside. We've got great receivers. James can throw it and run it. We got a fullback that's okay when it comes to being a compliment and getting offshoots to the left and right. But that's what really makes us special, is that Parker's dangerous and will spread you out, and you got to respect those people. And Parker's gotten better. He's a really great zone read guy and cut back. But we moved number 5, Hank, to the backfield this year, and that's really created a different dynamic and made us tougher to stop running wise, because he's going to bull you over, and he's a great lead blocker. But that's a different, running backs guys know that's a little bit different read when you've got somebody in front of you. So he's done a great job. James' progress has been phenomenal from where he was last year playing slot receiver, and he wasn't a very good passer, and we had a lot of trepidation about who was going to be our quarterback, to him putting the time in the off season and morning workouts and working on his mechanics and becoming a much more efficient thrower. And pretty much winning the job before we even got to summer. That's been a big progress for us. And then, Northeast Nebraska last year at the banquet, I flat told them we got to be able to run power in the playoffs. And that's kind of what we started to do about Pierce week on, was make James a little bit more of a runner, and make him the complement to Parker.
Mm-hmm. And, you brought it up, but Hank, obviously, he's had a heck of a year on the defensive side too, 90-something tackle over almost, finish the year with 100 tackles. That's phenomenal. Right. But coaching your kid in a state championship game feels a little different, right? It's hard to take the emotions out, because you've got to be a coach too and coach him, but you are a dad. And, what's your thoughts, I guess, in kind of going on this journey with him?
Well, yeah, it's been a great journey. And I think I told one guy, I'm talking about it, that, the dad, coach, son, player dynamic, it's a little bit different when your dad was a middle linebacker, you're a middle linebacker. That 99% has been positive. Don't get me wrong; it's been a phenomenal ride. But there's always those discussions, agreements, and when you come from a linebacker group or a kind of a toughness background, that they're interesting. There was one at summer camp this year that, I think the coaches were like, "Oh, that's your, that's my kid. Yeah, we're good. We're good." Yeah. But it's going to be emotional. I'm staying, blinders on. The other side of that is, the class that he's in, like I said, I've been with these guys since they were 4th, 5th, 6th grade. I love them all. But when your kid's part of that, I already know that there's going to be some emotions come Tuesday, no matter what the outcome is, but haven't really worked through that yet. So who knows where we're going to be.
That hug, win or lose, will be a little different.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Have you looked how much, obviously you looked at Wahoo, they're pretty good and super athletic and kind of multiple goal and kind of like you guys. I mean, the matchup is pretty good. You guys may be a little bigger up front, but a lot of good athletes running around. What have you seen from Wahoo?
Yeah, man, they're just a team that they just do all the little things right. You go, well, geez, there's something we can do, and then you watch a little bit more, and you're like, no, they do a really good job of adjusting to that. So it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a 4-quarter ball game. you hope we can find some advantages in a few spots. There's, they've got guys they think they're going to attack here. We're going to attack here. The team that's able to get that 3 or 4 yards consistently early, I think that's what you're going to look for. And I think that's cliche. Every coach probably told you that for the last 5 years. But they're going to do a lot of shifts, a lot of movement. That's a little bit different than us. We're going to line up pat and say, okay, let's make our shifts and let's play you technique wise. And they're going to, not that they're not, but they're going to try and get us out of position. And I think if we get lined up correctly early on defense, that's going to be the key for us. And just settling into kind of the emotions. We were a little bit tight last week, and for good reason. Ashland's a great team, and packed house and 1,500 people cheering and screaming. That's a pretty good time. But Wahoo's just, man, they're active. They're going to do some stunning up front on defense too that we've been working on. And thank you, Pierce, for doing that 5 weeks ago, because we've been working on those things for quite some time.
Okay, last question. Is the semi going to make it to Lincoln? How can we work that in? Can we work that in somehow? Like, can we get
You know what? It might be knowing my Boone County people, you might be able to find it out in the parking lot. I'm not going to guarantee anything, Mike, but I would not doubt it if it is not in the parking lot.
If it's there and you guys win, I'm getting in that thing again and honking that horn, because that was fun.
If you can coordinate with me, I might get in with you if we win that thing. Okay?
We can figure something out.
Yeah. I'm all up for a photo shoot.
Yeah. All right, Coach. We'll see you on Tuesday. Appreciate your time. Good luck. And we'll see you Tuesday. Should be a good game.
Amen. Thanks, Mike.
All right, here with Ashland Greenwood coach Ryan Thompson to break down the Class C1 state championship game, if you will. We'll call it a breakdown. It won't be super detailed, I don't think. But, hey, you were the only team that was a common opponent, really. And, you lost by a total of 14 points. So, and you guys were clearly a good team and made the semifinals. So these teams really well. And played them, obviously, Wahoo you play all the time, and Boone you played twice in a row in the playoffs. So, your thoughts on, I guess let's start with Wahoo, because you played them first. They're super athletic. Watch them play.
Now, this is an older system.
Yeah, absolutely. Wahoo it seems forever ago, week 2. But very apparent that they're athletic. As always, they have a great defense. And their special teams all year, after following them after our game, they were dynamic in our game. Their special teams are terrific as well. I think most people will say they're a year ahead of schedule, but boy, they don't show it. They play with poise. They're obviously well coached. Those kids, you get some young kids and they don't know better. You just get out on the field and you go, and they put together a tremendous year. And it doesn't surprise me that Coach Fox has his team in this game next Tuesday.
Yeah. And Coach Hudson at Boone, they've kind of built for this. They went young as sophomores, and towards the end of their sophomore season, now those kids are seniors, and they've done, obviously a pretty good job. They've been the number 1-ish team, I guess, all year, if you're right at the top all year, and expectations were very high, and they've met those expectations so far.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it building from last year. They were very competitive in all their games, even the ones they lost with, I believe, Pierce and Aurora twice last year were the 3 games, excuse me. So you saw it building, and you start looking at the roster, and you're like, man, C1's got to deal with this next year. So they've been on point all year, playing in our game last week. We knew what we were getting tangled up with, and they're a physical team. They're an aggressive team. They have athletes across the board. It's not just plugging players in. They are dudes across the board. So they're definitely a handful. Looking at it just from the quick onset is I don't know if points are probably going to be a premium on Tuesday. Like, you got 2 great defenses that are going to slug it out, 2 great running games that are going to slug it out. And if you're a defensive guy, you should be pretty excited. It's going to be a physical battle.
Yeah. The one thing, I guess, for them, they both have really good backs, but they have other guys that they can play running back or can run the ball, and they can throw it a little bit, right, enough to kind of keep you honest, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, both obviously Parker Borer probably has the accolades behind him right now. But both sides of the ball, they have two guys in the backfield at any time that can run. Both use a little bit of an option read type of game, a little bit of speed option type of game. And they make you honest, which stresses a defense very, very hard. I'd say the passing game, I'm trying to go back to what Wahoo did. It was more of maybe a possession pass game, not a lot of deep right. balls thrown at the time. They could have done that throughout the year. Whereas Boone seems to hit some big shots throughout the game. They definitely have their possession times. They got us at the end of the half with some great out routes and some great breaking routes to get them the ball in the end zone. But they're a big shot team, and they got athletes that can go up and get the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how that pass game comes out for both teams, just for the fact that they both love to run the ball so much.
They're both pretty physical, up front too. Not, maybe Wahoo's not quite as big up front, but they're fine.
They're Coach Fox and those guys. They're going to be just fine up front. They've built that program on that run game up in Wahoo and being physical and aggressive. So I don't think the size of Boone is to have them worried. They just know they're going to have to be on their A game every play.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask you to pick the game, because that's not fair to you. Or me. Because, fake motivation, right?
Right.
So, I guess the ultimate key, it'll come down to what?
I think, Boone, if they just stay on schedule with their run game, if they're in third and short all game, that's hard to stop that offense. They have so much going for them, and they don't mind getting 3 yards a pop. And we felt it. We thought we were doing pretty good, and all of a sudden Boer hit one, right? So they're just looking for their time. But I think if Boone stays on schedule, they're probably happy and have an advantage. But, on the flip side, for Wahoo to win, I think they're gonna stick to what they do, but they're gonna look for one extra play maybe in there that catches Boone off guard a little bit. And then, momentum is a big thing, and Wahoo's had momentum all year. They catch it and they catch fire. It could be a heck of a game down to the fourth quarter.
Could be a punt return for Wahoo, because and
they're very good at it. I mean, punt return, kick return, a punt block.
Yeah.
They have set themselves up for success through that special teams all year, and I know that they're going to be on their A game there, and it's just something extra that gets them going. Definitely could swing that momentum their side.
Okay. All right, Coach. Well, thanks for talking with me. I guess I won't talk to you, maybe I'll talk to you on Tuesday, but not like you would have liked it to be.
Right. Yeah. I love our team. I love where we're at. The biggest thing that hurts, just like with any coaching staff, is you get attached to a team, you get attached to some seniors, and my heart goes out to them, because we don't get to coach them again. We don't get to play with, or they don't get to play with each other again. But that's going to happen to every team. There's going to be one team that's very, very excited at the end of the year. We did a lot of good things, and I'm proud of what we do. But yeah, sometime we'll get back there, and it is what it is. But otherwise, we'll keep plugging away.
Yeah, we've done it before, so it can happen.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you.